Hello friends, I'm Professor John Gallagher, and whether you're code curious or a seasoned electronics maker, we're about to embark on a journey to learn CircuitPython using the CircuitPlayground boards, Bluefruit or Express. I'll be using the CircuitPlayground Bluefruit, the board I use in my course, but the steps are identical for both boards. If you're new here, the course I teach at Boston College is called Physical Computing, Art, Robotics, and Tech for Good. If you're following along with a free playlist, you can play the home game and do everything my students do in class. Start with the first video in the list to learn about notes, plus weekly challenges and solutions. In the prior lesson, we set up our CircuitPlayground board with the latest version of CircuitPython. In this lesson, I'll show you how to use the online CircuitPython editor to edit and write some simple print statements. That'll set us up for the next lesson, where we'll get the lights on our board to flash in different colors. So plug your board into your computer. You should see it mounted on your desktop with the name CircuitPy, then open a browser and head to code.circuitpython.org. And a quick note, this site requires a Chromium-based browser like Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Safari and Firefox typically won't work with this site. In a future lesson, I'll show you how you can install a free professional Python program called PyCharm. It's much better for writing CircuitPython code. It's got great code completion. It's much more helpful for finding and correcting errors, but PyCharm takes a while to set up, and I think we should write some code right away for a quick win. Now when this page loads, it wants to connect to the board. Choose USB, choose Connect to Device. You'll see a list of devices. Select the one for your board. It's probably got a name you can recognize. It should have something like USB modem in the name. Click it, then click Connect. You'll see the purple snake spin. That's Blinka. She's the CircuitPython mascot. And next, it'll ask you to pick a folder. Choose CircuitPy. That's usually the name that you see on your computer when you plug in any properly configured CircuitPython board. And just a quick note, at the time that I'm recording this, there seems to be a bug in the web editor. When you connect to your board, all the lights turn white. That's only supposed to happen when you get into what's called the REPL mode, which we'll do in a moment. But if your board ever unexpectedly looks like this with all the lights in white, just click the restart button up here. The white lights will turn off, and you should be ready to continue. So you'll see this browser window is divided into two panes. Left is a code editor. On the right is the console, sometimes called the serial console. It's used to show program output, and we'll use it for a tool called the REPL. Now, especially for my students, we're going to take one quick optional step. We're going to wipe our boards clean because sometimes there are files on here that were used by students in the prior semester. This will keep the latest version of CircuitPython on the board, but it'll wipe away any old programs and libraries and files. That'll let us start fresh and give us the maximum amount of free space on our board. So to do this, click in the output area of the console on the right, and when you see the cursor, press Control-C. Then you'll see a triple greater than prompt. This means we're in something called the REPL, R-E-P-L. It's a mode where you can type commands and CircuitPython will run them immediately. Now on a CircuitPlayground board, when you're in the REPL, you'll see all lights on the board turn white. More on the REPL in a future lesson, but for now, type this. Import space storage, all lowercase, press return, then storage dot erase underscore file system open and close parens, press return. After a moment, the board will disconnect and reload. The white lights go away to indicate that we're no longer in the REPL. We don't see the three greater than symbols. When the board reconnects, your CircuitPy drive should look fresh with only the default files and folders. Now with a clean board, let's get coding. Now in this course, we'll almost always write code in a file named code.py. CircuitPython boards execute any code that's inside that code.py file anytime a file is saved. The program also runs anytime any file operation happens on your board. That means the code will run anytime a file is copied, renamed, or deleted from the board. And code.py also runs every time the board is plugged in or reset. Now when we erase our file system, CircuitPython puts a one-line program in code.py. Let's check that out. Click open. If you've got disconnected, this happens when you erase the file system. Just reconnect using the same steps as before. USB, connect to device, select your board, click connect, Blinka swirls, use CircuitPy. Now we see the results of clicking on open. We see all the files and folders that are on the CircuitPy volume. Let's click code.py and click open. And what we see in there is a one-line program that simply says print, parentheses, quote, hello world, exclamation mark. The command print simply sends text to the console. In computing, we refer to text inside of quotes as a string. Now let's see what this program does when it runs. Click save and run, Blinka swirls. It usually takes about 5 seconds or so before the code starts to execute. We eventually see the output in the editor, and there's a bit of a quirk here. If you click Save and Run on code.circuitpython.org, your code probably executes twice. See how we have this bit here, and it's repeated down here? Now, most of the time, we'll just save instead of save and run, and that should avoid the double run. There's no problem with this, so let's look at the last run that we have here. We see some startup messages. We'll ignore that. The key part is code.py output, followed by the output of our program, and then if the program executes without error, we'll see code done running. So we see in between code.py output and code.running, hello world. That's what the one-line code.py program does. It prints the string hello world. Now, an important thing to underscore so we know what's going on here. Normally when we write computer programs, we run them on our computer. But when we work with code.py on a CircuitPy board, that code is running on the microcontroller, our board, not the computer. And the console is sort of a window that shows what's happening on our board. Let's try modifying that string. Let's erase hello world in between the two quotes and change that to CircuitPython is cool! ! Then click save this time, not save and run. Save forces code.py to run again, this time with our changes. We only get one run this time. If you can't see your output, you might have to scroll up to see the very end of what printed out in the console. And sure enough, we see another run and it says CircuitPython is cool. Nice! Now let's add another line to our code. We're going to add a line after this print line and follow along with me step by step. First, I'm going to start typing P for print, and oh, we see some suggestions pop up. This, my friends, is code completion. The editor sees you've typed a P, and it makes some suggestions based on what it thinks you might want to enter. All of these phrases have the letter P. Then type an R, and we see some suggestions that have P and R. Type PRI, we see suggestions that have those three letters. And now with code completion suggestions showing, you can move the arrow keys on your keyboard down or up, select the word you want. I'm going to highlight the word print here, press return, and the editor finishes the phrase print. Code completion is great. You'll also see this in PyCharm. It's even better there. It can prevent a lot of typos and other mistakes. Now type an open parenthesis. The editor knows all open parentheses also end with a close parenthesis, so it automatically types that close paren and positions your cursor in between. Now let's add a double quote. Same thing. Open double quotes always end with closed double quotes, so the editor types the closed quotes, puts your cursor in between, and now let's enter a new phrase. How about, you are becoming a coding legend! ! Now if you look at what's on screen, the program statements are color-coded. The print command is in blue, parens are in white, the string is in green. These colors might be different on different editors, but this is super helpful because if you make a mistake, like if I forget to type the opening double quote, well, this string is no longer in green because it's no longer a string because it doesn't start with double quotes. Eventually, your brain is going to be trained to expect certain colors, and if the colors look off, you'll get a quick hint that you've got an error in your code. So I'll add that double quote back. Let's click save and then execute our updated code. After 5 seconds, we can scroll to see the result. But now we've got two output lines here, the results of both of our print commands. Excellent. Now we've got a lot of output in our console. If you want to get rid of any of the output that's there so that we start with a fresh screen, you can just click the clear button. Console is clear, and we can rerun our code by clicking the restart button or by clicking save. Either one works fine. So to recap, in our first lesson, we had some basic but very big learning. We learned to use the editor at code.circuitpython.org, including how to erase all of our files. We learned to open code.py, the program that runs on our board, and we learned to modify and execute new code. We also learned about the print statement and strings, and we used code completion. Now, printing is cool, but we're really here for the hardware. So in the next lesson, we'll learn how to use the NeoPixel lights on our board, including how to light those lights up in different colors and how to get the lights to flash at different time intervals. Be sure to come back for more lessons so you can make something awesome.